think I wanted to talk about the concept of work. What does work mean? And I have a really clear idea in my mind of what I mean when I'm talking about work. I mean, a lot of people do. Like right now, I'm walking against an absolute tempest. So yeah, it's quite a lot of work, but it's rewarding. So it's not all bad, is it? Work's not a terrible thing. Some people don't seem to appreciate what work they're giving others to do. So I'm going to try and describe it.
But if you've seen the film Falling Down, you get an idea of how perhaps someone is a bit stressed and they get a bit more stressed and then a bit more stressed, and then before you know it, they want breakfast at 11:33 and all hell breaks loose.
So I'm here in Blackpool for salsa dancing weekend. As you can see, it's blowing an absolute gale, which is delightful. But I've had this discussion with people before. I mean, I have this thing in my head about when you're giving somebody work to do, and I'm not just talking about if you're their line manager. Are we giving them work to do, or are we making the interaction as effortless for them as possible? And a good example of that is with partner dancing.
But before we talk about partner dancing, let's talk a little bit about what work is in terms of my concept, my understanding of work. If I asked someone to do something that they would otherwise choose not to do, then to me I'm asking them to do a piece of work. It's not leisure, is it? I'm asking them to do something they wouldn't have done if they had the choice. I call that work. You know about this concept already, right? When you say to someone, you're hard work or they're hard work, what are we saying? We're saying it takes extra effort to interact with them compared to somebody else. Or it could be easier to interact with them. There's extra explaining you have to do, extra thinking you have to do to interact with them. That's all the concept of work is. Why is this important then, to be thinking about this in your interactions with other people? We've all got limited resources, whether that's time, money, energy, headspace, however you want to view it. And people rarely do something for nothing. So in terms of if you're asking someone else to do something for you, is it a favour or are you paying them? If it's a favour, then you want to be minimising the amount of work you're asking them to do, if you want them to do it. But also, you want them to enjoy it, or at least not find it that difficult. So maximise the enjoyment for them, and you'll most likely get your piece of work done, but you may also find they enjoy it and want to help you out again in future. And that's, of course, unless you're paying them. Oh, there's an extra slide. Why is this important? Well, if you are paying them, you want them to be doing the job that you're paying them to do, and not the working out what it was that you wanted them to do bit. So you want to put that across as clearly as possible, and then hopefully they'll want to keep working for you. So here's an example for you. Somebody phones up and says, I'm stuck. This is the kind of thing I encounter quite a lot, where people contact me and they give me pieces of information. I'm stuck. What does that mean? You've been playing with the glue perhaps, or there's an algebra problem that you're struggling with. Maybe you're stuck in traffic. I'm stuck. It doesn't really tell me much. And it doesn't tell me why you're telling me it. Why are you telling me this in the first place? We've all got a certain number of resources to use in a given day. And if you're interacting with someone who's busy or stressed or tired or lazy, whether you view it as a bucket or perhaps it's a pressure gauge. If you put too much in the bucket, it's going to overflow. If you're a pressure gauge, then you're just going to explode. But that's you, that's them. I'm stuck. Is it glue? Is it algebra? Is it traffic jam? I don't know what they mean. Already I'm doing some work. Somebody says to me, I'm stuck. I'm doing some work. Help me out here. What is it you're stuck with? So view the resource as a gauge, right? If somebody is already in the red, if they're a race car in red, asking them to do a bit more work, well, if you ask like a bit of an ambiguous question, should that be enough to put someone into the red? No, probably not on its own. But if you've seen the film Falling Down, you get an idea of how perhaps someone is a bit stressed and they get a bit more stressed and then a bit more stressed, and then before you know it, they want breakfast at 11:33 and all hell breaks loose. So why push up their revs? Why push up their revs? Let's just kind of, everyone we interact with, let's leave everything a little bit better than it was when we got there, as opposed to the other way around. So it's not just about how well somebody does something that you ask them to do, it's about us defining how we want something doing in a way that they can understand without having to do lots of work. Because remember, if they're having to do lots of work to understand what it was you want doing, then that's less energy they've got to do the thing. And we want all the effort to be into the thing. Go back to this example again. Can you pick me up from the shops? My car broke down. Oh, okay, so now I'm not thinking about glue or algebra or traffic. Oh, why they're telling me this. I'm just thinking, yeah, I'll finish this in a couple of minutes. I've got fuel in the car. Yes, I can do it. I can pick you up from the shops. How's the resources looking? Buckets looking empty, good. And just ticking over. Perfect. What more could you want? What more could you want?
The concept of work can be applied to virtually everything. So let's take kind of an analogy. Partner dancing, like salsa dancing. Oh, check out those waves. It's getting wilder. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's gonna get me, it's gonna get me. So you might think, like, okay, you have a leader and a follower. The leader directs the follower what moves they want them to do. It's kind of it. Yeah, I mean, I guess in an ideal world that would be it. That would be the least amount of work that a leader would need to do. In reality, I can tell you from a decade of partner dancing, there's often a bit more than that involved. Most extreme end, you could be doing all of the following. You could be choreographing instantaneously in your head. Be keeping the follower on time in those situations. Go off and do my own thing solo if the partner doesn't wish to dance to the same music that I'm hearing. Oh, okay, something that's not as simple as directing where you want to go. I mean, you have different styles of salsa, and provided you dance the same style or speak the same sort of language, then it should be obvious that you expect them to go in a straight line backwards and forwards, or turn around on the spot, that kind of thing. Or maybe your style is that you expect them to go around in circles if you don't touch them. But still, regardless of this, some people just do whatever the hell they want. You go anywhere, and you think, are we dancing the same style here? So yeah, so sometimes you need like physical manipulation. No, just go that way. Don't just go this way. So that can be quite hard. That can be quite draining. I'm finding when I'm having to do those, keeping the partner on time, getting them to go in the direction I want them to, rather than just giving them signals, there's much less headspace and energy available for me to sort of go off and actually enjoy the song and dance to the song. I don't know if you can see where I am. Can you see where I am? That thing in the distance looks a little bit like the Eiffel Tower. It's not the Eiffel Tower. Keep an eye on the dance floor to make sure they don't crash into anybody. Yeah, that's a job that you do anyway. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's not as simple as kind of going, giving the signal for a particular move or a particular tone. There's a lot more that goes on, but they require more work, right? Whereas when you've got a follower who can hear the beat and can dance on time and understands what flavour of salsa that you're dancing, and they go in the direction you expect them to go in. Maybe they've got a bit of spatial awareness about them, so they can notice when they're about to hit someone and they can sort of step out of the way, or they can even give you a little bit of an indication that you're getting a bit close. All the sort of headspace and energy I have then, it would have been used to keep them safe and to keep them dancing to the same song as me, I can use to dance myself. Super. So there we go, there's the concept of work in the context of partner dancing. One requires a little bit of work, an expected amount of work you might say, and the other one requires a hell of a lot of work. But do those followers, in that case, understand that they're causing you to do that much more work? Or do they just think, he only wants to dance with the pretty skinny ones? And I think it's not quite as simple as that. I want to dance with the ones that I don't have to do a load of work with to enjoy the song. That's nature doing some work right now. That is beautiful.